All right, welcome everyone. Today, I have a very special guest. Today is our first series of our formula series. And just give you an idea about Ben's Big Deals formula series. The idea behind this is this: many people in life, there's different characteristics, there's different focuses that we have in life that helps us become successful, whether it be in life, whether it be in business, whether it be, we're talking about travel and credit, our hobby. I think there's a lot of things that we can be able to do to improve our life, to be able to improve how we feel about ourselves. And I think I wanted to start off with everyone on each series and kind of talk about a characteristic that I think is super important for you to be successful in your own version. And I think all of us, one thing that we all feel like we could do better at or have more of in any situation is confidence. You know, whether it be walking into a room, whether that means we meet people we've never met before, whether that means buying a ticket to go someplace to meet people you've never met before on the internet. And then can you do that? And are those things possible? Sometimes we go in life and we feel like, oh, you know, I don't think I'm worthy. You know, we have an event coming up in the next month and people are sending me messages saying, should I go to this event? Is it meant for me? I think those are the things that people always kind of think about at the back of their mind. And when I think about people who have what I think of, who would I love to have the confidence of, you know, and I thought about Lyann because I said, whenever Lyann speaks, doesn't she seem as if she's like the most confident person? But I got to think she's a human being like the rest of us. And she has fears and she has like those type of things that we all have. But how does she overcome it? How does she decide that even though she may or may not be the best at it, how does she get that point that we could draw from that? We can't always draw everything from everyone, but I'm like, you know what, if there's someone that I'm like, I think about and I go, has confidence, I go, that's Lyann. And I go, we need to figure out, so I'm so happy to have her join us today, because today we're going to hear from her, somebody who I respect and admire when it comes to this aspect of it. I think she does a wonderful job. So welcome, Lyann Nguyen, the Credit Ninja. And you're in Las Vegas, right? Are you from Las Vegas originally, Lyann?
No, I'm from Newport Beach, Southern California, south of where you're at.
Oh, okay.
And so then so I moved over here in 2001.
2001. And how did that happen? Like what drew you to Vegas? That's not the, you know, what you picked for the Newport Beach.
I have a crazy story. In 1998, I got called back to the US to help a technology company that handles credit. And it handles the technology side of credit, not the repair or the funding, but just the algorithm. And so, which is today, what's the name of it right now? Smart Credit.
Smart Credit.
Which is a platform that does all the reporting. But it used to be called Junum.com. And I came in as the VP of operations for that company. And it was a startup. It was an IPO company, pre-IPO. So I handled all the tech team, building out the call center, dealing with relationships with the bank. So we got a co-branded card with the bank. And that's how I started the business. And trust me, I didn't know anything about it. I just knew in my mind that I got nothing to lose. So if you can think in your mind, anything you do, you got nothing to lose, and you're the only one that you know that is going to make a mistake or not make a mistake, that's the first thing. And that's when I came into the technology side of credit. And then 2000 happened, and the tech crash happened, and I had to move out of the state because I didn't want to deal with it. And the first natural place is a fun place, and it's called Vegas. And so I came over here and I just didn't want to work. And every day was just staying at the hotels. That's my first hotel, like staying long-term experience, was staying at the Bellagio. And it was an episode of like the Hangover. And I partied, I drank, I gambled. I did all the things that were in that movie. And I think that movie was based on my life, to the point where my casino host came to me and said, I'm a little worried about you. I know I get a percentage of everything you lose, but I'm feeling really bad right now. I think maybe I should introduce you to some people to get you back into business. And that's when I opened a technology company in 2001. And what it did was a money transfer company, debit and credit. And we worked with the government, like different military groups, and also people that were sending money to Mexico. So the Vicente Fox, which is the former president of Mexico. So that was my whole thing, is the technology side from transferring money. And then 2008 happened and everything crashed, and I destroyed my own credit, dealt with a lot of debt, and then I climbed my way back where I fixed my own problem. And because I fixed my own problem, I was able to now create a living for myself in helping other people fix their credit problems. So that's the whole journey of it all.
Now you have a successful credit. You have a whole team.
Yeah.
You know, people to help you nowadays, not just yourself. Credit Ninja is not just you.
Yeah. I have a whole team of support team that handles the files. But on the VIP side, I have a VIP team, a small VIP team that handled the higher end clients. So there's two different components. One that does the monthly repair and education. The other side is high ticket mentorship, which that's the ones that I handle.
And then you went in this past year and a half into a new business. Can you talk about that? How did that's the thing, you know, like a lot of people feel like, a lot of people feel like they are, you know, pegged into one business. Lyann's like, no, I can do anything else. And then she's like, I'm going to create another program, the NinjaFlo, right? I mean, how did that idea come about? I'd love to hear how did that idea come about?
So my background is biochem, and I dealt with a lot of people with a lot of illnesses, but because I'm helping a lot of clients that are high net worth, the one question I asked them in the initial interview is, are you happy? Just that one statement. And most of them, they make a lot of money, but they have no way to manage their health. So in addition to my team and myself helping them with their finances and strategy, the health was a big issue. They were just overweight. They didn't have energy. They just miserable. And so we can handle that component of their life. Now you got the wealth in control and then the health in control. And that's the balance that we see. And that birthed out NinjaFlo, which is a digestive enzyme product. So most of my clients are on this product right now, and it helps me kind of keep them on track. And it's going to be on Amazon soon. It's on the website right now. And then it will be in Vitamin Shop and Whole Foods. And those are the things that I want to do. And that's just one stream of income in my multiple streams of incomes that I have.
So Lyann, welcome, Nixon. So Lyann, so you start having credit problems, you fix your own problems. By the way, can you explain? Let's go back to the credit for a second. How did you learn about credit, and how do most people end up, you know, when they have credit problems? How did you decide that you're going to learn? Like, did you pay someone? How did you go about doing that? I can't. I think you're on mute.
It's a combination of, you know, learning by just, you know, researching, but also learning by paying other people and the mistakes that you make along the way. So when my credit was destroyed in 2008 and everything went to collections, you're talking about $165,000 in credit card debt that all went to collections. And while I was in the law library fixing a legal matter, I had a lawsuit that was going on. That was the biggest lawsuit of my life. It was a $500 million lawsuit that they were trying to come after myself and my entire founder of my company. And we just got accused of something we didn't do. But, you know, that's how the legal world is. You come in as a witness, and then they turn you into a possible, you know, defendant. Okay. But that's how life is. And because I fought through that battle, I became fearless. And that's the first piece of confidence, is in order for you to overcome fear, you have to just fight it along the way and have those survival skills. Okay. And because I went through that period of time where I had to deal with my own legal matter, remember, my bank accounts were frozen. I couldn't get access to money to fight the legal battle. So guess what? I just convinced myself I'm just going to defend myself in court. Now, mind you, all the other defendants paid millions of dollars to defend themselves because they had money stashed away. I didn't have a choice. So in life, when you don't have a choice about something, all of a sudden the survival skills come out. Remember, we're all animals by nature. So when you're in a position where you have to fight, you will have those, natural instinct come out. It's just people haven't really gone to that point yet because they're scared to even fight. Okay, so that's one of the secrets, is that it comes out of you. And when you have these mechanisms that come out, you create a skill set that is even priceless, because now it's survival skill set. And when I overcame the legal battle, I'm in the law library reading up on things about, credit stuff, banking stuff, because I was dealing with banking lawsuit. And I didn't understand that was what prepped me to where I'm at today. Life is funny. You go through these journeys, and along the way, you're going through all these challenges, like fighting, like running a race or going through hurdles. And you didn't realize all those things that you were doing was going to build up your skills to what you are today. That's what I went through, that journey. I didn't expect to be a credit expert. I just want to fix my own problem. So I started learning dispute letters. I sent them out. I paid some people to do the work, and some of them didn't. Some of it was successful, some of it wasn't. So you actually are going to take some losses. But along the way, the net result is that you're going to gain something, which is the knowledge of how to get out of debt and how to get my credit in the right order, and then dumping into the credit card game, which leads to points and which leads to travel and everything else. And it's all about building relationships along the way. So that's my answer.
Let's talk about relationships for a second, because I think this is an important one. Before we get to relationships, people are in their head about how are people going to view me. I mean, a confidence, a lot of it has to deal with, like, if I go somewhere, when I put myself out there, people are going to view me a certain way. And I think a lot of people have that concern, is like, how I be perceived. I mean, a lot of times we buy things, expensive watches, cars, homes, is to impress other people, and then, and status. And so it's a lot of it has to do with, how people perceive you. How did you overcome the concern that people are going to look at you and go, Lyann, what do you know about credit? Or what do you know about, biology or things like that? How do you overcome that? Like, what do you do?
You overcome it by having competence. So when I first started fixing my own problem, I asked myself, is this luck or is it skill? Because that's that syndrome, the syndrome that you were talking about.
Right.
What's that called?
Imposter syndrome?
Imposter syndrome, yeah. So you thought yourself, well, maybe I really don't know what I'm doing, because you're questioning yourself. But when you are able to now duplicate yourself and help somebody else for free, I started helping people for free with credit. And that way there's no pressure of them complaining. So I did it for free. So I called some CPAs and accountants, friends of mine, and said, do you have people that got killed in 2008, just like myself, that have credit problems, that now have money set aside to rebuild it? And I'm not going to charge them. See, and I started fixing these files, and then I got results. So I took copies of these results, and then I had them do testimonials, because then you do another one, and then you do another one. So after you do trials and proof of concept, after like 4 or 5 of them, and you're getting really good results, whether it's in credit or travel or credit cards, you get the results. Then it builds that confidence, because now the competence builds the confidence, and then it gives you courage to go out there and start charging people for this business. And then I started charging $250 for each call, and then it goes up to $500 for each call. Now I'm billing at $8,000 per hour.
Now, I'm curious, when you were charging 200 versus 500, which is 8,000, is it more of the clientele change, or was it that the advice changed?
The clientele changed, because now you create a reputation for yourself. And then when people are calling you, they already know, based on all the other people saying that if you call her, she's going to charge a lot, but she's the best in the business. So in a way, those people sold for me. I didn't have to sell myself, because I built that reputation, and it takes time to build.
How long did it take you to get to that that level?
2 years.
That sounds pretty quick, actually.
2 years. And then once that I got into that field, a company reached out, and they wanted a speaker to talk about finance and credit. And they wanted me to represent this small sales group. It's about 5,000 people, and it grew up to 50,000. Okay. But I started out when it was 5, and then our team serviced them. So they said, would you like to speak on stage and be at these events and support our team? And we'll pay you 40,000 a month. That was my biggest check, my first initial biggest check. And after that, I started doing high ticket advisory. But, they threw me on the night before in front of 7,000 people. And remember, I didn't speak on stage before. And they're like, the next day, you're gonna do a half an hour training on stage and talking about your journey and credit to our organization. And all I said was, yes, let's do it. I didn't say no. I figure I knew my stuff anyway. So I'm just going to talk as if I'm talking to one person. And if you know your stuff, that's where the confidence comes out. If you don't know your stuff and you have, confusion, or you're like, you don't feel confident about what you know, then that's where you're not able to do that. So I just got on stage and I killed it. I was the best speaker on stage. Everybody ran to the back and signed up for our program. And everyone's going, how long have you been speaking on stage? And I didn't tell them that was my first time. Because you convince yourself that you're there because you're just helping, serving one person, even though there's 7,000 people there.
Lyann, can you maybe for a second, because I know obviously within credit repair, almost all of those folks who are in there. Can you give us an idea, the folks that are doing it well, what do they bring to the table, like yourself? What do you bring to the table that makes a difference between somebody who's charging a high ticket like you versus somebody who's still charging maybe like $200? What are the differences that you see within those people who are doing really well?
Yeah, it's a difference between, if you go to a car wash, it's those people go through a car wash, it's just the exterior. They don't go the detail work. We go underneath and do the detail work on their file. We fix not only their personal information, we're counseling through like strategies, because we want to be able to get to a point where they're fundable at any point in time. And they have access to our team for the life of them being on our board. That's the difference. Okay.
So when you mentioned
we have AI and knowledge base. And it's very custom. It's like a custom suit.
When you mentioned fundable, you mean to turn someone from maybe not so good credit, they couldn't get any kind of funding from a bank or loans or credit cards. You want to make them to the point where they could be able to fund their business and use bank money to fund that.
Yeah. So let me give you an example. I have a client from California. His name is Bradley Young. And when he came in, his score was 601. Okay. Had a whole bunch of bad stuff on there. He had no history, because if you have bad stuff on your credit, how can you go get credit card? You can't qualify. I mean, his biggest credit card was $1,200, and there was an 800, and he has an aerospace like engineering company, not very big at the time. And when I was able to augment his file up to the 800s, and then he qualified for loans that he had tried for 8 years to get anything. And then when he hit the $1 million loan that he came in, the phone call was, what the F did you do to my file? I will give you a credit card and you can charge it whenever you feel. I have a carte blanche card that anytime I feel like charging it just for shits and giggle, I will charge that card, because that's what I was able to do. How much is that worth to that guy? Priceless. Because now his business is grown so big. He's one of the largest subcontract of government contracts, because he was able to get the contracts, but they wanted to see the financial, and he couldn't have money set aside to purchase and get teams together when he first started with me. Now he could pretty much get any contract.
Lyann, I know this is one, I didn't know we're going to go in this deep into it, but I wanted to kind of ask, as we're kind of discussing this. Some of the folks in credit repair have told me that a lot of banking and financial institutions don't really look kindly when they say that they're in credit repair. What is the reason for that, and what can be done?
Yeah, because credit repair has gotten a bad rap before I got involved, because what they used to do was do letters and so forth, and then ghost a lot of these clients out. Okay. I've been doing this for 15 years now on the consumer side, and 15 years on the data side. Have never had any complaints or anything. Been around for a very long time. In fact, I mentor a lot of the top experts in Instagram right now. So it's just because they had a bad rap. But at the same time, understand that credit and finance is a very regulated field, and the banks are in on it. So if the banks have a lot of people with bad credit, they will actually make a bigger spread. But if they have people who have really decent credit, they can't charge those big amounts of interest. So when you take money away from the banking system, they now are lobbying for you to not help them. So when banks see that you're in the credit repair business, they don't look at you favorably, because now you're taking money away from them.
That's a good point. That's
Okay, that's for people like me that are legit, but there are people out there that are taking money and they're not doing anything.
You know, I get this too on the travel side, but I'm sure you get it on the credit side. I mean, for my side, there's a lot of things that are self-help, like do it yourself. And then there's also do it yourself on the credit side. What's the difference between doing it yourself versus going to a professional like yourself? What's the difference that they will see?
I mean, they can obviously try to do it themselves, but the success rate is very low, because they may send the wrong letter out or make the wrong phone call that actually hurts their file, because they may be on the phone with the creditor and they might have said something that reignites the 7 years. See? And that comes with the confidence, because they may be stumbling when they're talking. Our team not only sends letters out, they actually do phone calls, and they do disputes online. So they attack on all three parts, versus some people that don't. Yeah.
Lyann, this is incredible. I actually really like what we're talking about. Now, let's just talk a little bit about imposter syndrome. I know we mentioned it early on. You know, some people are concerned when they're getting into their own business or starting their own business. Self-doubt starts to creep up. Do you get that as well? And what do you do to overcome that? I mean, obviously you're competent, but let's just say you're competent, but you're going into a new era. You know, we're always trying to grow, and we're always trying to, I mean, I think if you're growing, you're going into an arena or a field and moving into something that you've not done before. How do you tell yourself, then you go, yeah, I can do NinjaFlo. Like this is within my capability. This is within what people will view me. I mean, I think that's a perfect example of it. Like this is a left turn to go to NinjaFlo from the credit side. How did you convince yourself, and how did you receive that?
I believe that you have to do one thing good. Okay, so for credit, I'm one of the best credit people out there. But then there are other things that came along the way, like the digestive enzymes, because there was a need for it. And then, of course, people are asking me, okay, well, I need an attorney because I have tax problems or legal problems. Then that stemmed out into a new business, and then on and on and on. And then I get into real estate. And then, so let me explain this. I have 11 streams of income. 11 streams. So let me start with the first one. It's the one that I started with, which is Recredit, which is the financial literacy credit repair side, which is the monthly, right? I'm the CEO of that. And then it evolved into the Credit Ninja high level coaching. That's my second stream of income. The third one is that people wanted to meet up at these exclusive events. So I was finding out the Penthouse Mastermind. These are in-person events where you build relationship and experiences. And then a lot of my clients were asking me, who handles all your media and press? And I'm like, well, I do. So I created Avely Media for all of my clients to be able to have press and then media, because I have a team already. So I might as well repurpose them to make another stream of income. And then you have the digestive enzyme. I'm like, instead of me paying a company, right, to use the product, and I might as well own the company. So I created the product with that company and trademarked it and have my own entity on that. Then we had real estate projects that came up because I met so many people in the relationships, and that became project development. That's the deal flow that comes through. And then I have a preferred network of tax and CPAs that we send through, and that's another stream of income. And then we have the credit card website that I'm going to be setting up. That should be done by May. That's because I'm already going to send people to certain credit cards for that fits them. So might as well get a piece of it. And then I have e-commerce sites that were set up for the last 3 years, Shopify, Facebook Marketplace, and so forth. So there's another one right there. And then now I have another 11 stream will be referring for Notions. Notions is a organizational software that I use, and I might as well make money off of that because everyone's asking me for the code. So when there's a need out there that is solving a solution, that's when you're able to monetize. That's my answer, is that I didn't create them. My clients needed them. So I might as well make money off of it.
You know, I didn't know you did all those things. I'll be honest, it's the first time I've heard of all the different levels of multiple streams. How do you organize those things? And do you have your team do that, or is there AI, or do you have automation? How do you
Yeah, it's called folders. So I have folders. I know, like I literally, like I'm a child. I'm like a 3-year-old. And if you click on this, you see the pizza?
Yeah.
And you see the tabs right there? Those are my streams of income.
Wow.
Okay. And then of course I have them on spreadsheets on Google as a backup. So that way, if that folder gets burned, I have it on my Google Drive under different folders. But it's all organized.
Oh wow. I would have anxiety with that, man. 15.
No.
Let me ask you this. We talk about anxiety for a second. I think the biggest thing is a lot of people have what they call analysis paralysis. Like they'll look at a card and then they'll think, what should I do? I don't want to make the wrong decision. And therefore they do nothing. That's what most people do. They like like I have a lot of people who contact me, they want to take the class and then they don't do anything. They're not ready to move forward. They don't sign up for the credit card. They don't kind of move forward. Some people move forward and some people do not. Like what's going on in the mind of people who don't move forward? What do you think that they need to do to kind of unblock it so they can move forward with their life?
Well, here's the thing. They're not, because they're not pot committed. When I tell you they're not pot committed, that's why I deal with high level clients. When they're paying $8,000 or $10,000 for my time, anything I say, they're going to take serious. If I don't charge them ahead of time, I can't deal with them because they're not committed like that. When you go into the gym, and if you're paying at Planet Fitness $20 a month, you're going to make all kinds of excuses saying, oh, it's only $20 a month. Now, if you're paying me $2,000 a month to get fit, your ass is going to be at the gym. It's the level, it's how much the pain that you feel because you already paid that's your motivation to show your ass up.
That's a good point. That's a good point. So
Yeah.
the clientele, by the way, your clientele, are they more small businesses? Are they just wealthy individuals? Like who are
they?
A
mix of them. Yeah, they're always referred in by someone that is well off. They're NFL players, golfers, e-commerce. Most of the big influence that you see on Instagram are my clients. And then their communities use me.
How did you get into that thread? I'm just curious. How did you make it into?
Yeah, so I met with Gary Vaynerchuk. And when I first started in the world of social media, I asked him, when I had the Credit Ninja handle, he's like, you need to build that and you need to just go out there and meet and just do and post. And then the algorithm for Instagram used to be pretty crazy, and then I got into Grant Cardone's world and I'm in 10X events and so forth. And I keep posting hashtag 10X and I'm on the whole 10X hashtag, they're all my posts, to the point where every time there's a big conference with Grant Cardone, everybody's like, where's Credit Ninja? Like they're looking for me. And then I get the clients just because I'm on the Explorer page. And then another thing is you have to have intention. So when you are pursuing a business or a service or whatnot, my goal was to try to help a lot of young entrepreneurs in the e-commerce space. So when I was in California and I had access to the jet, let me show you real quick here.
She can pull up the PJ.
So I have access to the jet, right? And so I was talking to some of my clients these are all e-commerce guys. And I go, I want to get into the e-commerce world. What can I do to do that? And my client was like, hey, they need a ride from California to Scottsdale to get a car and maybe look at a house. So I took 5 of these influencers, e-commerce, top influencers to Scottsdale. And I didn't really know what e-commerce was or YouTubers were. And I took them And on the plane, we spent time together, and I was with my dog on the plane, and I told them what I did, and they said they don't have credit. They were 18, 19-year-old kids, and they were about to go to Scottsdale to buy a McLaren or something for $280,000 in cash and a mansion out there. And I go, how are you supposed to do that? They're like, oh, we brought some, different forms of payment. And I'm like, do you know what credit is like? And they're like, no, we don't know, because we don't talk to our parents. So I gave them a little rundown, and I said, if you guys want to sign up, I'll do a special price, $5,000 each. And they took their backpacks out and they grabbed $5,000 and handed it to me. And that's how I got into the whole social media world. And mind you, each backpack is over $200,000. These kids had these cute little.
You serious? They're carrying
they were
cash
all
with them?
carrying these Louis
Serious?
Vuitton bags,
Oh my God.
and they had $200,000 cash in each of them, and they were all wearing Gucci slides. Because I was decked out in Gucci and Balenciaga and all that stuff. Because I asked myself this question: what does that audience like? Those young kids were into private jets, Gucci, Lamborghinis, all that stuff. So I got it all. And I started bringing them into my world. And after servicing those niche kids, they started doing shout outs to all of their followers. And then I get that business. I have not spent a dime on advertising or Facebook ad. It's all word of mouth. It's all organic.
So Lyann, let me just clarify, everyone. Lyann made sure she went to somebody who had a center of influence, that they were influencing other people. That's what I got so far. Number two, she blended in and she understood the mentality of the people and her clientele.
The culture, yeah.
Yes, she understood that. And then I also hear is that she got referred basically because of that. And so she didn't have to do her own. She had her clientele do the advertising for her by doing word of mouth referrals. So
yeah,
if we hear from that's something we should pull away from that.
Definitely. It's how are you remembered? What do you stand for? When they think of you, what do they associate with? And that's part of building your brand.
Now, let me ask you, Lyann, does that mean that there's more opportunity for people in this luxury brand rather than something for the masses? I'm kind of curious from your perspective. Like, for example, is NinjaFlo more for the masses, or is that, as opposed to, let's say, your credit side where it's more of a higher end proper,
Well, with NinjaFlo, because everybody eats, I wanted to come up with the product that everybody needs, and it's refillable and reorderable. And I wanted to get it into 8 billion people's hands. That's my goal. And it's doable, because I'm about to bring it over to China, and they already have billions of people. I probably hit my target right there. And then, of course, the US, and people eat all the time. If you're a robot, you're not my client. So what does that mean? Everyone's going to be my client. So always find something, a product or a service, that no matter what the economy is like, they're going to still buy it.
Lyann, let me ask you, how do you wake up in the morning and have this very big vision for yourself? How do you continue to have that every day when maybe, let's say, you didn't have a good day, you had a bad day? Like, what do you tell yourself? I mean, I'm sure you have bad days just like the rest of us.
Yeah. Well, I got nothing to lose. When I think I had a bad day, I remember the time when I was in those miserable times, that this was way better than then. And if I don't keep working and I don't keep serving, I'm going to end up like that. So the fear of going back to that is my motivation for keeping this pace. Okay. And I'm constantly flowing, I'm constantly growing, and I'm constantly moving, because if you're not in motion, your business is going to go down and you're not going to stay relevant. You understand, in Instagram and Clubhouse, if you're not there for a week or so, it's like people start to forget. People have short-term memory, right? So I'm always constantly there. And even though I'm on stage on a Clubhouse or whatnot, I'm not really active, but my name is going to be there. They know that I'm still around and I'm still relevant, and I'm out meeting people, I'm out flying all over. That's why travel is so essential as part of my business. Is now I can use all those travel credits, those points, these hacks, the relationship I have with you and many other people in the travel world to expand my brand. So you start with one expertise. And from there, you expand your brand, okay, into other niches.
One of the things I hear you say all the time, I hear it all the time, Lyann says it all the time, is relationship. How does relationship fall into this whole confidence building for you? Like, how do you go in with the mentality, I'm going to build relationships? And is that something that people don't do enough of? And
No, I don't think you do that as you build a relationship. I would just want to make friends. I'm just more interested in them. So if you go in without having a transactional, like I don't go in and say, I'm going to do a deal with Ben or Aiden or Peggy or Roman or Dana or any of these people. I go in there and goes, I'm interested in them. What are they all about? And where do they live? How do they function? Like, I'm always curious, right? And you have to ask these right questions to keep your mind stimulated. Remember, if you don't use your brain, it will die. You have to constantly stimulate your brain. And that's the exciting part is I feel like a 8-year-old all the time. I wake up and I'm like, what about this? What about this? What is this AI? How am I using AI? Like, it's a game. And if you can gamify every time you wake up, and just first of all, you start with gratitude. So every morning when I get up, I light a candle saying, oh my God, I won a lottery ticket because I woke up. How about that? I woke up and whatever I didn't do yesterday, guess what? I could do it today. And that alone already started my motivation for the day. And I'm consistent. I go make my coffee, everything, my espresso, everything's all organized. So if you're organized in your life with spreadsheets, your calendar's organized, you have such clarity, that's half the battle. If you're not clear in what you do, you're a big mess. So even like when I have tons of Zoom calls every day, you got to come prepared, you got to look decent. People really judge you on the outside until they are able to see you on the inside. So even when I go to these hotels, I'm in there and I'm confident in what I say. I document the process. It's all about that confidence and organization.
That's so good. First of all, this is like one of the best calls we've had. I love it. Lyann, I have some people here. Obviously, we got Peggy. We have
Yeah.
Aiden's actually Nixon. I think he's on his kid pays for the account. So Nixon's the father. Nixon is in real estate. Do you have any tips or let me ask you about AI. Do you think there's any AI that can be done to help folks in the real estate side? Do you have any ideas on that, or how they can maybe be more efficient?
Well, AI can help you set up certain agreements and trust. So you can it's the way you set your prompt. You could say, I want to create a trust account, a trust agreement to set up for this real estate deal, and you have to be more defined, and then you have to tweak it a little bit. In my world, I'm just going to speak in the credit world, create a podcast questions that a podcaster like Ben's Big Deal Travel would relate to credit questions. And then it spits it out in like literally 2 seconds. And then I just modify it a little bit and send it off to Ben. And then we have the questions. I would have paid $1,500 for my team to do all the research, right? I just saved myself not only time, but money on that process. Or, I'm on stages a lot and I might want to come up with some comedy skit. And the prompt is, come up with some comedy that Credit Ninja would say about people with bad credit. Throw some F-bombs in there and make it freaking funny. It came up with like 20 jokes that they found stuff that I would say or I've said before and tweaked it. That in itself created content so that I'm more memorable, right? And then it should make AI and technology should make your life easier. If it doesn't make your life easier, it didn't play the role. Okay. Same thing with apps and so forth.
So this is Nixon. Thank you very much for pointing that out. Are we using ChatGPT?
Is the question, should we be using it?
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming when you're saying you're putting out the prompt, putting in the code, it sounds to me like you're using ChatGPT. And by any chance, are you using like Jasper.ai as well, Jasper.io to do your social media posts? But in regards to business, I know ChatGPT is a very powerful tool. It allows you to do an Excel spreadsheet, breaks it down. Also creates your email and email responses to different brokers and vendors out there. So yeah, I agree. AI is a great tool. And by the way, I like you're very motivational because
Oh, good.
I am very impressed with your different side but business. So it's impressive.
Thank you.
Nixon here is a serial entrepreneur as well. He never only hold one thing. He needs to be club promotion, do concerts, do real estate, all that stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah, you know what? When you go out and live, you have a story. And I'm all about the story. I'm all about going out there and having these experiences. That's why when Ben travels all over the world and at these different places, it makes it seem like he's taking me on that journey. And if you're able to do that for all of your super fans, because every one of us have superpowers, and every superpower is different, that as a collective, we're all Avengers. So we're out there really making an impact on the world and influencing people along the way and taking them down that path. That's why I'm going to get ready to do the international travel soon. And, of course, I'll call Ben if there's certain countries that he's been to get him a little insight, because those are the shortcuts. Is because the relationships is a two-way street. Anytime Ben needs anything, he can call me, vice versa. But it takes time to nurture these relationships. And a lot of people don't have the skill set to do it. But it starts with impacting one person at a time and being very strategic about giving more than you take. And if you can give more than you take, I think the relationship is very authentic. Don't go in there, what can I gain from this? No, what can I give from this? How can I give? How can I contribute? Because when you contribute, the environment is so strong.
So it sounds like you're always, when you're meeting people and you're talking to them, I think I'm hearing this. It's like you're saying, how can I be a service to you?
Yeah.
How may I help you?
Yeah.
Because you're providing a service and you're gaining their trust and building that strong relationship bond. And when you're providing a service, it's like, hey, you're not taking from me, you're helping me. So it's like I would say, pro quo.
Yeah.
I help you, you help me in the future. Is that what you're looking at?
Well, I don't look for I don't expect a return though. I'm unconditional because I don't care. Because I feel like the universe is going to give it to you somewhere else. And if you can feel that sense of it, that you're out there because you're contributing to the earth, you have to leave wherever you're at better than you came. Same thing when you stay in hotel rooms or, first class, wherever you fly. When you leave, it's like you haven't, it even looks better than when you came. And I've always been that kind of person where even if I stay at 5-star hotels, the people that are cleaning go, did she even sleep in the bed? Like there's nothing off about it. It's because you have care and concern for everything you do, and it shows.
I will attest. Lyann will rent out a huge suite in Vegas, and she's out there at 1 a.m. cleaning up. Like, amazing, Lyann. Amazing, Lyann.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's housekeeping. She's like, I got to clean it up for them.
Well, you know what? It's how you do one thing is how you do everything, I think.
Amazing, Lyann.
Mhm.
Lyann, we're getting does anyone have any questions? I love, you guys are here in Mentorship. Dana, Peggy, do you guys have Tony, if you guys have any questions for Lyann, but we have her right now. We got her for another 13 minutes. Go ahead.
I think I had this conversation with Ben. So a long time ago, I went through the same process. I told Ben, hey Ben, I went through the whole process a long time. I had bad credit for the weirdest stuff. And I took it upon myself to repair my own credit. And to this very day, to the very moment, I'm at 840 or 850, so confident. And I'm very a stickler to it.
Yeah.
Is there anything else beyond having an 840, 850 credit? Because I'm at that point right now, I'm being very anal when it comes to hard inquiries. And I'm just like,
yeah,
I don't like this. And I see the exceptional, then boom, good, because I'm inquiring to get another credit card to do something else. And it's one of those inquiries again. I'm just, it drops it down. So what I'm trying to say is there any other thing you can do besides having a high credit report or high credit?
Yeah, but I think when Ben and I talk about credit scores, yeah, it's great to have a credit score. Yeah, I mean, my credit score is 850. Okay. I just pulled it. I mean, am I the only person that actually frames their credit score every time there's an update?
No, I like that.
I literally am obsessed because I mean, I take this around and I'm on stage and I go, do you guys want to see my credit score? Like I just told this, here's the date on here. Because I'm obsessed, you know, and then you get all the credit card. I have hundreds of credit cards. I mean, I have booklets like this, okay? I have 3 of these books, okay? And then I have the ones that I carry around, and you know, Ben probably has the same, and you know, I could just go on and on and on. And then I have hotel rooms. I mean, there's a whole bag here. There's about 100 hotel room keys in here. Here we go. Waikiki Beach, Ritz-Carlton. So it becomes a game, you know, staying at
That's a
the
good, by the way,
Ritz-Carlton.
that is one of my favorite properties in Waikiki.
Yeah.
It is. I think it's not for the location necessarily, but I just think the rooms are new because a lot of the properties in Waikiki, they tend to be older. Ooh, look at her.
So this is the Penthouse Mastermind event at the Sky Lofts. This is like a few thousand a night at least, but it's very exclusive. And Ben went to the event, and you know, it's just really cool. I mean, this is a key from the most expensive hotel. It's called the Crockfords. I had a penthouse there. Ben was there. It was like 10,000 a night that you went to. But this is an actual key. It has an
They didn't
RFID.
take back the
in here.
key. They didn't take
Wait,
back
do
the-
you have the key?
No, I don't have the key.
I'll send you the key, because this key gives you access to all the restaurant. You never have to get in line. You just show it to them when there's 10 million people in line. They're like, oh, come here, man.
That's so vague. That's
It's
so
all
vague.
about,
Anyway,
you know, access. I mean, I got literally, look at this, proper hotels. It's very expensive. This is in
So-
Santa Monica.
by the way,
So-
if anybody goes to Vegas, you should reach out to Lyann. So Lyann is. the
Hey,
people-
literally, I go on stage and I have this whole bag of cards, hotel cards, and I go, this is how much I stayed in hotels in one year. It's 200 and something rooms, and I throw it on the floor and I go, who wants this? And then they all run to the back. I close the whole room with just doing that.
Okay, so again, so
Yeah.
you hit the above 800 mark. So
Yeah.
what's next after that for people with credit?
Yeah, so what are you using the credit for? Like, are you yeah. So even if you have an 800 and something score, if you're not using it to generate money, then you actually don't have an 800 score. You have like a 700 score, because you're not leveraging that. All my credit cards, I use it to put it in real estate. I put it in I put it into companies that make me money. Okay. And also you have business credit cards, you have corporate credit cards. Then when you get done with that, how many banks are out there? There's thousands of banks out there. If you open a bank account at each of these banks, you now can get 20, 30,000. 20, 30,000 times 100 banks. How much is that's a lot of money.
Right.
So the game, you're not playing the game
not
to the
playing the
highest.
game.
You're playing, it's like baseball. You're playing minor league. I'm playing major leagues.
Lyann, there's a concern from people, generally speaking, who are maybe not in this space. who
Yeah.
go, okay, am I gonna max out the line of credit? Like once I get all these line of credit from Bank of America, Chase, Citi, like will they not give me credit anymore because I have all these available lines of credit?
No, because there's 3 pockets. There's personal, there's business, and there's corporate. There's 3 pockets of credit that you can just go hog wire on. That's how confident comes. You get to a point where you walk in like, give me what I want. Like I'll go into a Mercedes, go, I'll take that. This is the rate I want. If not, I'm walking to the other dealership over there, and they'll go, okay, what do you want? Instead of they're saying, how many cars do you want in our Mercedes lot? They'll say, if you have bad credit, they say, get off my lot. It's just confidence.
No, I'm very impressed. I've been so conservative with the credit because I've been like, oh, I don't want to touch it. I'm here, I'm happy, everything's doing well, but I never use it to the max where based on leverage. I know you can leverage it, but I was like, the inquiries don't want to, how to say, just pushed me away from applying for more. So
Well, you know, every year you get a few allowances, so you have to time everything right. I mean, Ben and I talk about that. Okay, what's our next card that we want to get? And also, you know, in my world of business, I can do whatever I want with my credit. I can remove those inquiries if I choose to. Remember, I'm a plastic surgeon. I was pre-med in school. I didn't become a doctor, but I became a plastic surgeon because I augment, I make my file pretty, and I get as many plastic or metal cards as I want. It's unlimited.
Lyann, can we cover one thing? I think you brought it up, which is important. I don't think people realize or can know that they can do it. Like, inquiries can be removed, bankruptcies can be removed as well.
Yep. Bankruptcies. Yeah, but it's expensive. But I have clients who don't mind paying to get it off. I mean, nothing is guaranteed. We just keep working on it. We're very relentless, you know, and we don't give up. We're stubborn. A lot of people give up after like 4 or 5 tries. We keep going.
How long is the average amount of time it takes for people to, like, if they start with you, by the time they're done where they improve their credit?
I would say 5 to 7 months. 5 to 7 months is the average. Okay. My fastest cleanup is 11 days. And this person paid me a lot. I put my entire team over there, and this person had like a 570 and got to 801 in 11 days.
Wow.
That's amazing. That is amazing. Wow.
All right, Lyann, now we leave knowing that you're the plastic surgeon. I love this. I'm going to call her the Queen of Vegas and the plastic surgeon of credit. I love it. Lyann,
I think to round up the process is when you repeat what you do all the time and you make adjustments, that's when you get progress. And building relationship, attending events and masterminds and conventions, like I had just mentioned, is helpful. And staying connected in communities where you see other people do it, you are more inspired to do it. But if you're all by yourself, you won't have that push, the nudge. When you're hanging out with superheroes, you're going to fight the battle. But you're hanging out with people that you're the smartest person in that group, you're not going to level up. You got to be not the smartest person and keep leveling up. You mean the events I go to, the last one was in Santa Monica for Bitcoin, and they're all billionaires. I'm the poorest person in the room, but I'm okay with that. And then when I go to meet Ben, I'm meeting with people that have connections in with Bitcoin too. So that's part of my meeting on the 26th at the LXR Oceana, which is one of the top hotels out there.
Absolutely. Well, we'll wrap up with this. I think we have a few minutes left.
Yeah.
How important is it to meet people in person? What is your view of Zoom? We do Zoom because we had it, but like, what's your view of meeting in person? What's the in-person? How important is that in building a relationship versus meeting just via Zoom?
I think you can read people in person way better than on a call or on a phone, because you get to see how their reaction is. And something that is amazing about having a cup of coffee with someone, breaking bread with someone, all the walls come down and you just have human to human interaction, which was missing in the last 3 years for most people. But I had 11 in-person events. And then I also I stayed at 202 hotel rooms during COVID. Who does that? Because I wanted to do something that nobody else does. While everybody was staying home, COVID cleared the air for me to go and visit people. I got the hotel. Listen, I was at the Ritz-Carlton. I had the whole hotel to myself for 3 days. The entire staff was waiting on me because nobody wanted to come there. It's okay, stay home.
Oh my gosh. Lyann, when I think back about it, COVID time travel was the best because there's no crowd. The fares were cheap. All the testing was a pain in the ass, but I mean, the ability to go to places without tourists, the ability to fly to places that were open. I don't think we've seen that since 9/11. Like, it hasn't been since 9/11 that we had that opportunity again. So I mean, I look back on it now and I'm like, gosh, this summer is crazy. It's super expensive compared to the last two summers back.
Yeah, and I think when you're prepared, the 3 P's that I love is the preparation, which we talked about, having that clarity and discipline. And number 2 is participating, is showing up and learning through the process. And the third thing is just having patience If you can just remember the 3 Ps and go through your life every day and just knock that box, everything you do, you're going to be on target. And you don't think there's progress, but in a period of a week, in a period of a month, in a period of a quarter, in a period of half a year and a year, you're going to see, oh my God, I am marking those boxes every day. And it might not be your time, but over time, but you have to continue to be top of mind for people. That's why I contact Ben. How many times a week do I kind of either contact you on the phone or text or on Instagram comment?
Right. At least once a week.
At least once a week. At least once a week. So I encourage everyone is just to stay connected to people. And one way to stay connected with me is on Instagram, Ninja Lyann. So you're going to repost it, so you'll get that.
I wanted to add something. One
Yeah.
of the folks in my mentorship, she told me, she goes, you know, Ben, I'm not at this level. I wish I was. But then I started talking to her. And as I started talking to her, I found out she went to Tokyo. She took her whole family. She used her points to play. She didn't fly business class, but she flew economy, but for free for her whole family. I said, that was great. And then she said, now everyone she's a nurse. Everyone that is at work all wants to know how she's traveling all the time now. And now her boss doesn't want her to share the secrets because nobody's gonna be working. I'm gonna be on vacation now. But she was saying, you know, she didn't realize is that when she looks at this level, when we're at this level, she may be the weakest person. But when she looks at her circle of friends, she's the travel influencer that everybody goes to. I want everybody to remember that no matter where you're at. I mean, you may feel like you're not, but it's just perspective. But it's good to be always learning. It's good to be in the room, like Lyann said earlier, and says, you know, it's okay to be the poorest person among the billionaires, but it pushes you to that next level. And other people are going to be looking, admiring, and following you. So I appreciate that talk about patience, because patience is so important. I think a lot of time we're impatient. I remember when I was younger, I was like, I wanted to do this. I wanted to be the youngest this. I want to be, you know, I think about it for my daughter now. I look at my daughter. I said, when I was growing up, my dad like had jump grades, okay? But when it came to my daughter was born in November. So she had to be held back a year because of her birthday. And I thought to myself later, I go, that's actually a good thing. It's better she's the oldest in her group than to be the youngest in her age group, because she has the maturity to be the leader there. And I don't know, I mean, who cares if you graduated at 20 versus 22? It doesn't matter in the big scheme, big scheme of things. But, you know, I think that's the thing. I think a lot of young people, they sometimes like, you know what, I'm 26. I'm not a millionaire yet. Like I see on Instagram, I'm supposed to be, you know, I'm supposed to have 15 houses and 3 business flow income. I'm like, no, I mean, you know what?
Well, you know what? Who's keeping score? I just want to say, who's keeping score? And if you're happy, like that question we started out in the beginning, are you happy? That's all. I just asked that one question, and it's a yes or no. I'm completely happy. Because it's my life. I have freedom to do whatever I want. I can go whenever I want. And that freedom is priceless. Freedom to travel, freedom, you know, with all the points and understanding the system. And you know what? It's never game over. Think about it. If you knew everything about travel, you'll be bored as hell. So it's like a video game. You got to keep playing the game, because when it gets to the point where it says game over, it's depressing, man. So always try to find something that pushes you further, you know, and it makes you keep going and striving. And every day I wake up, I'm like, what am I going to learn today? Who am I going to speak to on Clubhouse? Who am I going to meet at this event? I mean, even I'm going to do international travel. I'm just bringing my passport and my, you know, my carry-on luggage, and wherever I land, that's where I land. If I need to buy anything there, I'll buy it there. I don't worry about not forgetting to pack something. It's called packing your credit cards and money. That's all you care about.
That's true. That's so true. Lyann, I want to thank you so much for your time. This has been a fantastic power hour here on our kickoff for the for this particular formula series. I thank you so much for joining. Does anyone have any final things? By the way, Lyann, can you share everyone how they can get a hold of you if they wanted to learn more about what you do?
Yeah, so go to Instagram and find me there. It's Ninja, Ninja. You could write that down. And then Lyann, Lyann, okay, on Instagram. And then on Clubhouse, it's Credit Ninja. So you can find me there. But you can DM me the word list, LIST, like be part of my mailing list on Instagram, and my bot will send you all the information I need, and we'll stay connected, because I think staying connected and being like following stories and learning tips is where you want to go. And if you want to do high level advisory, then, you know, send me a message saying, I want the high ticket, you know, because a lot of the clients that get in, they start with the monthly, and then they get to a point, they're like, you know what, I'm shooting for the high ticket. So of course, you know, Ben and I work together on a lot of different projects, and we stay connected. So, you know, we'll keep everybody in the loop.
Thank you so much, Lyann. You've been wonderful. I appreciate you joining us today. Please send my regards to everyone over in Vegas. I look to see you soon when you get over here to Santa Monica.
Yeah, I'll be there on the 26th, 27th. So nice to meet you, Peggy and Aiden and Dana and Roman and anyone else that's watching the replay. Definitely, you know, follow me on Instagram, and I already gave that instruction. So there you go. Ben, we got to come eat soon.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you, everyone in Mentorship. If you have any questions, you can feel free.
Bye, Peggy.
Our next one will be in 2 weeks, 2 Thursdays from now. We will have Alyssa, and we're going to have her. She's going to be talking about finance. So we're going to have a call on finance in about 2 Thursdays from now. I want to thank everyone for joining. We'll talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.